Demystifying the procurement process. Today I'm going to share some practical advice on how to respond to a request for proposal. Firstly, we're going to cover the 4 steps that I use to design a proposal. The first step is to understand the request for proposal and make sure I understand both the customer or client requesting the proposal, as well as the service or product that they have asked for. Once I understand this, I move into a design phase whereby I design the solution. The design of the solution enables me to make sure that when I write the proposal, I have all my facts at the fingertips. Once we've got the solution and understand the request for proposal, the next step is actually to write the proposal. And when I write the proposal, I am talking about making sure that you follow all the right processes with the right information in the right place at the right time. Finally, we're going to check the proposal and check and check and check. So, as we understand the proposal, you'll see I've divided the screen into 2 parts. At the top here, we've got the information about who is requesting the proposal. And at the bottom, we've got the information about what they are requesting. So before we start, we really need to understand the who, or the company who has requested this proposal. Who are the people wanting us to submit the proposal? Some good information to consider is their annual report. This will give you information on their financial status, their annual turnover, the cost of their goods saved, as well as things like their strategic initiatives. What are their key focus areas? What is their growth strategy? Where is their business heading? What are the core focus areas in the new financial year? A second source of information that's very useful is the website. On the company website, you'll find information about their directors. You'll find information about their geographic location and spread, the products and services they offer, the brands that they own, and any other vital information that might be relevant to your particular product or service you're going to be selling them. Why do we want to understand this information? Well, the more we understand about the company, the more we are able to customize our approach to writing the proposal. Using their terminology and language is one way of making sure we get faster buy-in, because it shows that we've taken time to understand them and their business. The second part of understanding the request for proposal is making sure we understand the what. What are they looking for? Is it a product? Is it a service? What are the specific elements that they need out of that product or service? In addition, it's important when responding to a proposal that we also look at the documents required, because there's going to be a list of supporting documents required, such as tax certificates, bank statements, registration documents that prove you are a sustainable and legitimate organization. And it's important that you go through this list, because if you forget just one, there is the risk that you might be rejected before you even start. It's also handy to know who the competition are, so that you are able to compete in terms of how you write your proposal and you know what they can offer versus what you can offer. So competition information is also very, very useful. So this is the proposal and the process we use for understanding the request for proposal. The second step in the process is to design the solution. And here it's important that we spend quite a bit of time brainstorming and thinking about what it is that we're going to offer. So for example, is it a physical product or is it a service? Where is the service or product going to be delivered? Is it at their head office? Is it at a remote location? Is it close by? Will travel costs be incurred? It's important to understand this because it impacts the cost structure of your final product. What you're offering and where you're offering both impact how you price the product. Who is the target audience? Is the target audience a procurement person, or has the request of proposal come through from a different department and different group of individuals? What information can you find out about them? What are their likes and dislikes? How do you go about getting this information so that you are able to even further customize your response? When is the product required by? What timelines have you got in your mind in terms of how you will deliver it? Have you factored in the lead time required for raw materials and for delivery? These are all important factors when you're looking at writing the proposal, because you can't go and promise something and not deliver it. And lastly, how much is the product or service going to cost the client or customer? How much are they going to need to put out of their pockets to pay for the service? What are the things that you need to consider here? It's important that you consider the hidden costs, the costs of things like delivery, the planning time. All these things need to be factored into your cost structure. So what you are delivering, where you deliver it, and when you deliver it hugely have impact on how much the product is going to cost the customer. Once you have designed the solution, the next step in the process is to start writing the proposal. When you write the proposal, the first thing you're going to do is you've got to plan. And when I say plan, I'm talking about planning ahead so you're not rushed. It's really important that if there is a deadline, for example, 12 o'clock on the 5th of May, you have a timeline in your head where you work backwards from that deadline. At what time do you need to courier the proposal? At what time do you need to print the proposal? At what time do you need to make sure you've got a final copy ready for proofing? If you've got a plan and a timeline, this helps you not to be rushed. Secondly, make a checklist of all the specific requirements in the request for proposal. This is important in terms of the documents, the cost structures, the delivery plans, client references, all the different things they might ask for. Make sure you've got them noted in a checklist one by one to enable you to go through that list and check the final document. Collect all the supporting documents, so all your business information like tax certificates, client references, employee CVs, and start to put it all together in a folder so you can find it easily when you get to the end of the process. So that's what planning is about. Once you've planned the proposal, the next thing to consider is the structure. How are you going to present it? Make sure when you choose your headings, don't use creative, innovative headings. Rather use the headings in the RFP. So if they say product design, use product design. If they say cost structure, use cost structure. If they say company background, use company background. The reason for this is this enables them quickly to evaluate your proposal based on their requirements, because they will have a matrix that they measure all the different elements against. Make sure when you structure your proposal that you lay it out neatly so that the buyer can find the information easily. By having clear headings and lots of neat layout with a good table of contents, you save the buyer time and make it user-friendly. This enables them to find what they want. And if they can find what they want, they're less likely to reject your proposal. In terms of the cost structure, in many instances, a buyer will put a specific cost structure together that you need to consider when you write your proposal. So if they ask for a breakdown of transport cost, material cost, and labor, make sure your product costing is the same. Otherwise, if they can't understand how yours links into what they're looking for, they can't evaluate your proposal and you won't be accepted. So that's the structure. Lastly, the content. When it comes to the content of the proposal, make sure you provide all the information they request in the order and the format they have specified. Don't change it. Highlight how your solution will meet the buyer's needs. Make sure that you clearly show what their need is and that you've understood it and how your proposal will come in to meet those needs so that they can see that yours is the right solution. Match the buyer's terminology and language. This is really important. For example, in the environment where I work, we often talk about world-class manufacturing, but some organizations talk about lean. and others will talk about total productive maintenance. It's critical that I, as a person writing the proposal, choose the same language as the client is using and not my language, because it makes it easier for the client to understand. So now you've thought about what the plan is, what the structure is, what's going into your proposal. It's also important to look at some of the typical table of content items. A cover letter is a great way of introducing your business and giving an overview of your proposal. The executive summary highlights the key and pertinent points that are included inside the proposal. An introductory paragraph is important in terms of bringing the whole professionalism to the proposal. Make sure that your proposed solution is clearly understood and well explained. Sometimes what will happen is you might have something in your head and you forget that they don't know that. Once you understand the proposed solution, you must include your project timings. When will you deliver the project? Where? What are the lead times? Make sure you have a section that explains the cost structure. The company overview comes towards the end, but it's important. Who is your company? Where do you deliver? Who are your clients? Who do you work with? What environment and services are you able to show them that make them understand that you are the right company to answer their questions? References are important, be it case studies or written references or just telephone numbers. Make sure you include your references, and please do not give out a phone number unless you have confirmed that reference with the organization that you have asked to be your reference. And lastly, you'll have an appendix with all the supporting documents. And a really good practice when it comes to a proposal is scan everything in as a PDF. Make sure all your pages are neatly numbered, and then knit the document together with one of those PDF combining apps so it's one single document. They don't need to go anywhere to look for what you are supplying. So you've now understood the RFP, designed the solution, and written the proposal. The final step in the process is checking. Make sure that you have done a grammar and spell check. There's nothing more off-putting than poor spelling and bad grammar. Capital letters, full sentences, the basics of English grammar. Number the pages of the proposal in the footer and include your company details in each footer so that they've got a way to refer back to it. Use the white space so it's not cluttered. Leave space so that people can see what you've tried to present. Keep it simple and use short sentences. Avoid jargon, acronyms, and technical terms wherever necessary. Write in the third person. State the facts. Don't exaggerate. If language is not your first language, ask someone else to proofread it. Make sure that someone's going to go through it, a second pair of eyes. English is my first language, and I still ask another person to proof these things before I send them off. Finally, don't distort the images by stretching them. Make sure you grab them at the corner and make sure that you keep the aspect ratio correct. So these are some of the tips in terms of checking your proposal. In summary, what we've spoken about today is that you need to understand the request for proposal. You need to understand the requirements, what is required, and who is asking for it. Secondly, you need to design a solution that meets the needs of the customer. Don't just try and assume your solution meets their needs. Thirdly, you're going to write the proposal within the time frame, you're going to structure it, and you're going to plan it. And finally, you are going to check that proposal with a fine-tooth comb over and over again. Thank you for that. If you have any questions, I'll be on the call for a little bit longer, and you can let me know what questions you have.